Okay guys, what's up? This is going to be a really short video and we're dealing with protection. I've been putting off making this video for a really long time because it is really individualized. Like protection, I mean, there's basic stuff that most people should have, but it's really the amount and how much you're going to have is very specific to your situation. Like if you take car insurance, for example, car insurance is a very standard thing, but the type of policy and the things that you get within the policy are, there's a lot of things that go into it. Like, do you want collision insurance? Do you want comprehensive? Like, do you want your car to be covered if a stone flies from the ground of the freeway and hits your windshield and cracks it? Do you want coverage for other people hitting your car? Do you want coverage for you hitting other people's car? That's the one that's required actually by the state. But there's a lot that goes into it. So what I've done, it's a surprise. I'll tell you at the end of the video. Or I mean, if you read the description, you'll find it out. But what I'm going to do is give you an overview of what protection is. So you have the basic understanding of it. And from there, you can go through the thing that I'm going to provide to you, and you can look and see, hey, what should I get? What should I look into and learn more about? So in order to do that, I have prepared some nice thing for you here, and we're going to have to go full screen. Okay, and I'm disappeared now. Can I come back? Yeah. Oh, there I am on the other one. All right, cool. So now you can see me that way. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to be talking about protection here, all right? So the basics of protection, the very basic thing that it is a document that states clearly that if some type of event happens, then a certain action is to be taken as a result, okay? If this very particular event happens, then as a result, I want this to happen. All right. Now, there's two types of protection. We can break it into two. There's directives and insurance, and we're going to go through each of these things. So let's look first at insurance, go over how that works and what it is. So if you have yourself and there's this thing that you are worried about happening, right? This is some event, some reality. It has a really, really low likelihood of happening, so it's not really that much of a concern. But if it were to happen, it has a very high financial impact on you, right? Low likelihood, high financial impact. Therefore, it is a cause for concern. You don't want this thing to happen to you. Because if it does happen to you, you're financially screwed. And you hear a lot of people, this is common with medical insurance, like people don't have the medical insurance or the proper coverages that they need. And then some freak accident happens or they get some horrible disease or something happens to them and they didn't have the right protection and they're financially ruined. It shouldn't happen. I don't think it should happen ever. That's not a way. Oh, hold on. I need to get my potato. So anyway, whatever, personal opinion aside, that does happen sometime. So it's a big, scary event, something that you don't want to happen to you. So people see this, as an opportunity, and they make a company and they say, hey, okay, we're an insurance company and we're going to pay for that thing if it happens. We're going to sign a contract that says this event, right? This thing that you're worried about, we're covering it. And we're going to sell you this contract, this insurance, this guarantee at a low monthly cost. Okay. So they write this contract and they sell it to a bunch of people, to many people, because many people have the same fear. They have the same concern of that very high impact but low likelihood thing happening to them. So they just copy and paste this contract basically and sell it to all these people, a bunch of people. And all these people pay a low monthly fee to the insurance company so that when somebody comes out of the woodwork and they said, hey, this thing became a reality for me, we have this contract here, the insurance company can pay them. Right? That's how that works. Most of the people who buy insurance are never going to use the insurance. And I would hope, like the insurances that I have, I hope that I never have to use those insurances, because that event, I don't want that event happening. It's not, I'm not going to be like, oh, yay, the event happened, now I can use my insurance. No, that's not what insurance is. Insurance is something that you pay for to provide coverage in case that does happen. Like this guy is probably not a very happy camper, but he is a happier camper than he would have been had he not bought the insurance to cover this event. So that's insurance. Now we're going to talk about, we're going to look at the definition of insurance first. You say it like this: insurance. A practice or arrangement by which a company or government agency provides a guarantee of compensation for a specified loss, damage, illness, or death in return for payment of a premium. You pay the company, they say, hey, if this particular event happens, specified loss, damage, or illness, or death, typically is what it's for, then we'll pay you. We'll make you whole. We'll indemnify you. Many new borrowers take out insurance against unemployment or sickness. Yep, you've heard of disability insurance, you've heard of life insurance, you've heard of long-term care insurance, you heard of health insurance, all those kinds of things, all insurances. Of course, they have insurance in the name, it's obvious. A thing providing protection against a possible eventuality. It's really the same thing, right? This one is not really talking about contracts, though, but adherence to high personal standards of conduct is excellent insurance against personal problems. For example, telling the truth is insurance against ruining your reputation or going to hell or something, right? You also don't have to remember all the lies that you've told if you just always tell the truth. So telling the truth is a form of protection as well. It's a form of insurance. So now let's talk about directives, okay? Directives are slightly different from insurance. They are not things that you pay for continually. They're not exactly contracts, but they are things that you write down to say what you want to happen when you're no longer around or not able to speak for yourself. So, I mean, you've heard of people saying, like, when I die, I want my ashes to be scattered next to or around the ocean or dumped into the sand, or I want to be buried next to Michael Jordanson. That's what a directive would help you do. So let's look at an example. As a guy, you say, hey, if I die, I want this to happen to me. A very particular set of things, right? And I also want my kids to get my car or something, right? So then the guy was like, okay, you got it. Fine, great. I'll remember that, right? So that's all fine and good, but let's say that you are dead or you have died, and maybe this guy has like memory loss or something because he hasn't moved at all and you're dead. And now you're dead and you wanted this to happen to you. Like, this guy might be somebody else. He might be dead, right? It's not the same guy as before. Or it might be the same guy, but he forgot, right? But also, if your request for your death was really weird, people might not believe him. And they say, yeah, he wanted to just dump his ashes in the sand on the beach. And people would be like, that's crazy. Why would he want that? Anyway, you get what I'm trying to say here. So you don't really know what somebody who's dead wants, and you can't really tell people what you want when you're dead. So hopefully this guy had a will that said, I want this to happen, right? A will is something that you write, last will and testament. You write and you say, hey, I want these things to happen upon my death. This is how I want my assets distributed, and so on and so forth. This is who I want. to take care of my children. You sign it, and you typically get it verified by somebody. And now this guy is like, oh, okay, you got it. It can make that happen. That's the basics of a directives. It's more complicated than this very simple example. And it's not just a piece of paper where you write, I want this to happen on it, and you sign it and you verify it. I mean, it could be that simple, but, legally, it I guess it helps to have complicated lawyers speak and use thus and they and thy in those wills, but whatever. You get the idea of it. So there's the insurance, and then there's the directives. So what I've done, and here's a surprise for you, is, this is not the surprise, but these are all the different kinds of types of different protection, both insurance and directives that are, some of the most common ones, as well as some maybe not so common ones. But it's a long list. It's a big list, right? And that's why I said in the beginning that it's kind of very particular to your situation, which one of these you're going to be looking at. Like even life insurance, for example, there's a whole discussion to have on life insurance. It's like a big topic on it in and of itself. Depending on your situation, what kind of life insurance you want and what you want that particular thing to do, that, I don't know, it depends. Like I have life insurance, and the reason I have life insurance is different from why you have life insurance. Like I can explain to you why I have life insurance all day long, but it's not really going to help you figure out what kind of life insurance that you need. That's something that you kind of have to do the research on your own for this. I mean, these are just things that you got to research. You got to figure out what you need, what you want, some of the things you need, some of the things you want. And the same with directives. Everybody should have a will, right? But what you write in that will, nobody can tell you. That's what you got to figure it out on your own. So what I have done is I have put together a checklist for you. And at the time of me recording this video, it is not 100% completed yet, but you can find it in the description below. It's a link to a Google Drive, which is a view only. You can make a copy of that sheet, and it has all these items on it, and it has a short description about what it is, and then it has also a little tidbit kind of teaser of like when you should look into this, right? Because there's a lot of things in there, and you're probably not going to need to go and look at and learn about every single one of these things. Like renter's insurance and homeowner's insurance is the easiest example. If you're renting, you don't need homeowner's insurance. If you're a homeowner, you don't need renter's insurance, right? So yeah, so check out the description below. It's a big checklist. It's pretty thorough. And you're going to get an idea for whether you need one of these things or not. Maybe I'll do a video where I go through it and I check off those boxes. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a great idea, Arjun. Amazing. Okay, now I'm going to wrap this up here at the end of this video, but I just want to make a quick note here because annuities are things that people talk about a lot. At least, I hear it talked about a lot. Annuity, but an annuity is an insurance product, okay? You only need an insurance license to sell it. It's not an investment. It's not an investment. So yeah, so also if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I will answer them. And that's it for this video. I said it was going to be short, but it ended up being pretty long. So, whoops. Bye-bye.